Hello, I'm Marcia Hampton, the Assistant City Manager with the City of Douglasville. Welcome to this edition of Legislative Post. My special guest is the new City Clerk, Miss Vicki Acker. Welcome, Vicki.
Nice to be here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming on my show. I promise this is your first time on my show. It won't be bad. We'll just have the folks out in the community get to know you a little bit better. I know you've had some articles in the paper about you and your background, but we're going to talk a little bit about what it is that the city clerk does and some of the things that you'll have tasks coming up for next year. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your transition from executive assistant to city clerk. Tell me a little bit about what's been some of the challenging things and what's been some of the fun things.
Well, the main challenging thing is that before, as the deputy clerk up under the executive assistant, I was assisting Joyce, the former city clerk. And so, I helped her on a day-to-day basis. But now the transition is that I have to do all of this myself. And I've found out that I had a lot more things than she had told me about before, which is great, very challenging though. Like there are some state audits, like the immigration report, that's one thing, and different filing things with the Ethics Commission, that was another thing. And now all of the elected officials have to come to me and file their reports, their campaign reports, and then I send them into the Ethics Commission. So that's been challenging.
Yeah, and I think that there is probably not a good understanding with the public what the city clerk actually does. I think that maybe some folks think, okay, it's clerk, it's administrative, but really the city clerk is a very technical job, and there are a lot of legal aspects that come to play the city clerk because you have to get things right.
Yes, it has to be very correct because you put these things in the minutes and they are permanent records, and you want your permanent records to be correct for years down the line. So everything, it may seem tedious or I may be being very picky sometimes with some of the staff, but I know that at the end, we have to have these records correct. And so that's why I'm asking for them to be very particular with things. Because it just has to be correct for future.
Correct. And one of the aspects of the city clerk's job and a lot of what I see that you handle, this office handles sometimes, are open records requests. And when you're saying that things have to be correct, if people are using this information for legal purposes, it has to be correct.
Yes, and that's in that aspect, I ask a lot from the different departments to compile different information that I may get an open records request for. And so, yes, they are using it for court proceedings and so forth. So, yes, it has to be correct.
And, one of the things when you mentioned former city clerk Joyce Stone, I always, was of the notion if Joyce corrected it, I felt good about it. And to me, that is the testament of the city clerk's position. Just that I see it as a position where, as you said, things have to be correct. It's a position where if there's going to be things that are in order when it comes to the meetings, when it comes to the minutes and the agenda, the clerk is the person that is ultimately responsible for those.
Yes, because the clerk has to be the person that when someone needs something, if they need an agenda from 5 years ago, you've got to be able to go back and get that information. If they need a contract or a deed that's very old, that clerk has to be the person that goes back and get that and provide that for the staff and the council and the mayor. So yes, you have to be very organized as well.
So I know you haven't been the clerk that long. So thinking, now that you're in and you said that there are certain things that you weren't necessarily aware of going into the job, when do you think you gain your footing? Or do you think because, the way I look at it for myself, I think, gosh, if I had that level of responsibility of accuracy, I probably wouldn't do well. I probably would not be comfortable. But you definitely have to be an individual that's very sure of themselves to be able to do this job.
Well, what happens is every day I find out that I'm doing something. I'm getting my footing in one aspect of the job, of a duty. Like, for instance, before Joyce did all of the copying of the minutes, the permanent minutes on this special paper. So I didn't do that, but now I feel very comfortable doing it. And then next year in January, maybe I will get the elections part. So it's like every day it's another duty that I feel very comfortable doing.
But I'm certain it's fun, and it's
yes. It's so much fun. I love it. I wouldn't ask to do anything else. I love keeping up with everything, keeping up with the recording of all the information, the agendas. I really love preparing the agendas for the council meetings and getting all the attachments ready. That is something I really enjoy doing.
Well, we appreciate definitely having you as city clerk, and you mentioned elections. So we just recently finished up one election for 2014, and the city actually will have a huge election in 2015 where we will elect a mayor and 3 council members. So if there are folks who are out there contemplating right now running for any one of those offices, what do they have to do?
Okay, I'm going to go to my notes here if you don't mind.
Not a problem, yes.
First of all, they must qualify.
Okay.
And to qualify, they must be 21 years old of age. In the residency, they must meet the residency requirement, which is 12 months prior to the date of the election. And the candidates, if you're going to be running for a council member, you have to reside in that district that you're running for.
Okay.
Okay. And let's see, and then you have to pay a qualifying fee. If it's you're running for mayor, it's going to be $1,188.
Wow.
And if it's for a council member, it's going to be $387. And you have to complete a candidacy affidavit. And then you will be given a packet. And in that packet, it will be ethics information. Like, for instance, if you plan to accept money or any in-kind, you will have to file a DOI, which is a declaration of intent with the Ethics Commission. And then if you're a newly elected official, you will have to attend a mandated training. That's a state mandated training. And you will also get the sign ordinance that's from the Douglasville Code, City Code.
Wow. So if you're going to run for office, you need to be very organized. And so all of this information that you presented, that is information that they would turn into you as the clerk?
Well, as far as the qualifying, yes, that would be in the affidavit. But if there is anything else, as far as the money, they need to contact the Ethics Commission as far as, taking money, because they have to do the DOI.
Okay. Well, folks out there, you heard Ms. Acker. She has mentioned what you need, so I would definitely encourage you after the holidays to do your homework. They can contact you directly.
They can.
And your information is on the city's website.
It is.
And contact Ms. Acker, get all the information you need, do it now so that when it's election time and it is qualifying, you have all of the information. You don't want to end up with qualifying and then you don't have everything that you need.
That's right.
Before we close, is there anything you would like for the public to know about you or about the clerk's office?
The clerk's office has an open door. If you need anything, just give us a call and we will assist you in getting whatever you need if it's something that the city can do.
Well, thank you very much. And I would like to say to the audience, I've worked with Ms. Acker since she's been here. She is a very honest, trustworthy, very loyal employee. And I tell you, if we are looking to have someone at City Clerk, we couldn't have a better individual. Joy Stone was definitely a good city clerk, but she has done a very good job for us and handed it over to a very worthy person. So we really myself really appreciate having you in that position because it is a integral part of city government and we have to have the right person in it. So we appreciate you being willing to serve.
Well, thank you. And I also want to give a shout out to Joyce. Thank you for your well training and for always being available for me, even now when I need her.
So Joyce, that means I hope you're watching my show and I'm going to call you and find out if you are. Well, again, thank you, Vicki, for joining me. I appreciate it. Again, everyone, thank you for watching Legislative Post, and we will see you again next time.